We are live. A little bit early, a little bit earlier than normal, but it is what it is. And so let me see if I can get to the broadcast here and check out and see if anybody's in the house. Go back here and go to the broadcast. That's not it. There it is, shipped. Grand Seiko shipped. That be the broadcast. Okay, now let me stop this from playing. Hello, Trevor. Trevor in the house. Can't stop looking at my Rolex. Hello, Craig, I'm first. All right. Rolex, Rolex, Rolex. Rolex. I can't do it like Archie. I'm here. I'm here. Okay, we have breaking news. And there's a reason why I'm wearing my Indiana Jones jacket, and I'll get to that in a minute. By the way, Peter Botwright made this for me back in the day, right about the same time that the movie Raiders of the Lost Ark came out, like mid to late 80s, whenever the heck that was. You can Google it and find the date. But Peter Botwright made this for me. I was a big fan of the movie, and I commented to him that I really liked the jackets, and he made one for me to my measurements. And then he decided to go ahead and start releasing the jackets to anybody that wanted to order them. So you can still go. Peter's since passed away. You can still go to wested.com and order them. And there's actually one on eBay right now for sale that's a size large, 42 size large, that is on eBay right now, that can be bought fairly reasonably, I think, less than $50, I think. And this was really nice leather in these. He doesn't fool around when he makes these coats. And he will make them to measure as well. At least they did. I don't know if they still do now. He's, like I say, he's passed away, but they're still in business. I don't know if anything's changed or not. But let's do a time check before we move along here. And again, I forgot to get my H2O, so I might have to take a break and get some H2O here in a minute. But let's do a quick time check. And you will notice that there's no snowflake in the house. No snowflake in the house, so we're doing the time check with the 9F quartz, which is probably, my guess is, it's spot on, accurate time. So that's what you deal with when you're dealing with these 9F quartz movements. They are spot on. Of course, that one's in 18 karat gold, and that's my dress watch. And Annapolis Jones, all right, Annapolis Jones, there you go. Indiana is the dog, there you go. All right, and so go back to this. Okay, so this is the breaking news. As some of you may know, I auctioned the snowflake on eBay. It went for $4,750, and the gentleman paid. He paid last night, and I went ahead and shipped it. And so it's on its way to Texas, staying online for 15 minutes, about to board a plane to the States. Have a great weekend, great jacket. Well, Craig, are you going to come visit? I'll buy you dinner. Dinner's on me. Thurmont, Maryland. I'm in suburbs of Washington, D.C. Hit me up. You can contact me through my website, CraigShipp.com. Why can't I put that in the chat? Well, anyway, CraigShipp.com, just my name.com. You can contact me through my website, and dinner's on me. Okay, so here's the deal. He paid for the watch, and I shipped it out. And let me see if I can bring up the tracking. Well, no, that would probably show his name, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. Anyway, what I did was I shot a video of me putting it in the box and sealing it up with his name on it and all. And then I put some like lines on it, and I put like some writing on it over the tape to show that the tape wasn't disturbed. Then I took it to shot that all as one clip. Then I took it to the post office and I shot a clip of me handing it to the clerk, and he turned it all around, and I got a video of the whole box with still my special marks on it. And then it's shipped off. It's on its way to Texas. So, how does it feel to be down to the gold, quartz, and the diver? I'll tell you what, Brian, the diver is just fantastic. I mean, I cannot say enough about this watch. Even last night, for some reason, in the middle of the night, my wrist, it was a little tight. My wrist had swollen up a little bit. Maybe I had too much salt or something for dinner. I don't know. But what's neat is all I have to do is take this clasp right here and just lift it up a little bit, and bam, I just let that out, and I can adjust it, you know, in a couple clicks to however loose I want it. And I can just take any pressure off if it's a little bit on the tight side. And then, of course, when I want to, I just push it back in. It's like a one-way ratchet, right? It'll only go one way. It won't come back out. It won't come out this way. So I can just kind of push it in to wherever I want it. In this case, it'll be all the way in, and I'm good to go. I really like that feature. And I also like the micro adjustments. I like the GMT Master that they have in titanium. I really like that too, but it's a little bit thicker than this watch, and it doesn't have the extension bracelet that I just demonstrated. It has the micro adjustments, but it doesn't have the extension. And as I've said before, in some instances, when I first got the watch, I wasn't really that enamored with this clasp. I thought it looked kind of kludgy, but I've gotten totally used to it. The looks don't even bother me, and the functionality is off the charts. It's much easier to adjust this than, for example, a glide lock on a sub. Okay, so let me read the rest of these. Piece from Dubai. Dubai rocks, man. Dubai rocks. I wear my Luminox with tritium tubes at night for very easy reading in the middle of the night. That's my sole purpose for that watch. Okay. And Eric and I went at it a little bit about leasing a car. As Dave Ramsey would say, fleecing. When people lease a car, they get fleeced. It is the most expensive way to own and operate a vehicle on the face of this planet. And as I also said, I'm not a fan of buying new cars. Buy it 2 or 3 years old and let somebody else take that big hit on the first couple of years. But if you are going to buy a car, don't lease it. Buy it. Because leasing is more expensive, period, full stop. So, and then the other thing, and I am a fan of Dave Ramsey. Of course, I was kind of living his lifestyle pretty much, the lifestyle that he preaches even before he became popular. But I agree with a lot of the things he says. And one of the things is, we didn't go at it. We had a discussion. Yeah, we did. We had a discussion. Absolutely had a discussion. So anyway, here's the deal. And I love Eric. Eric's a smart guy. Anybody that can buy a Grand Seiko for the price he paid is a smart guy. Now, if he jettisons those tutors, then he'll be even smarter. But anyway, so here's the deal. When you spend money on automobiles, especially late model automobiles, that's a heavily depreciating asset. And it takes away from money that you can put in things that are better investments, like real estate, mutual funds, whatever. And so that's why the vast majority of Americans these days, some statistics say 50%, some say 60% of adults in America are broke. So in other words, if you took their assets and their liabilities, they actually are in the hole. Okay? And one of the reasons is car payments. The average car payment is close to $600 a month for something like 84 months, some ridiculous thing. And people are just constantly in car payments, whether they be leasing payments or new car purchases, and then they roll negative equity into the next new car they buy, and they just keep on this treadmill of spending $500-$600 a month on their vehicle. And this is one of the principal reasons why they're broke. Also, a bunch of other credit card purchases they make, buying watches on the credit card, these kinds of things. They will be broke and they will stay broke. So, yeah, it's well worth, any of you all that are young, if you're my age, it's too late for you, right? But if you're young, it's well worth it to look at Dave Ramsey, look at what he does, and look at the book he has, Total Money Makeover. It will change your life. It will get you on the right direction towards building wealth so that you'll be able to have all these nice things that we want to have, when you get older. One of the things he says is live like no one else when you're young, right? So you can live and give like no one else later on. What he means by live like no one else is don't be like the Joneses. Don't be like the guy next door, always buying the new car, always putting stuff on the credit card, charging everything, being in debt, making all the banks and everybody else rich except for himself. Don't be like that guy. Be like the other guy that's driving the older car, keeping it in good shape, driving careful, driving safe, not wrecking it, not doing all the stupid things that people do to stay broke. And you'll be ahead of the game. Okay, so that's all I'm going to preach. By the way, I lost a subscriber. Subscriber said that I was old and gray and insulted my my viewers. So he unsubscribed. So I lost a subscriber. So there's that. Love your taste in clothing. Well, thank you. Thank you. If GS came out with that watch in 40 to 42 millimeter, I'd buy it over the Submariner all day, every day. I love my Seiko divers. Yeah, I hear what you're saying, but have you tried the titanium one on? Because it actually wears like a smaller watch because of the lug design and because of the weight. It might be okay for you, but you really should try it on. The titanium one. Try it out. You'd be surprised. I'm not a big watch fan. This does not wear as big as it looks. It really feels good on wrist. Okay. Have you been to California before, Craig? Yes, I have, many years ago. I drove a 1978 silver anniversary Corvette out there. I sold it to a Dr. Art Uline, and I drove it out to his place. He actually had a place in Malibu, but I drove it out to his place in, not Burbank. It wasn't Beverly Hills. Anyway, it was right in that area. And I had to actually move there because it was a L82 4-speed Corvette, which you were not allowed to buy in California. This is why the guy wanted it. And so what I did was I bought it new. I was working at the Chevrolet dealer at the time, so I got it for $500 over cost. I bought it, tagged and titled it in Virginia, and then I drove it to California and had to get a driver's license out there and tag and title it in California. It took me about 2 weeks to do it, but I was staying in his guest house. He was a rather wealthy individual. And then I sold it to him for a nice, healthy profit. And so that was my trip to California, all paid for by him. As a matter of fact, I'll show you a photo from that trip, and I'll share a very sad story. See if I can get this, pull this up, about that trip. I was shooting film back then. Why is that not working? Okay, it's searching. I'm trying to find the photo. Bear with me. Anyway, I was shooting film back then, and I loaded a roll of film. Let me switch to the computer here. That's me standing, believe it or not, that's me standing next to the Corvette in 1978, paper tags on it. And that was the last photo of all my photos that I took in California. Los Angeles was 400 miles from there. That was the last photo because I loaded the next 36-shot roll in my camera, my Nikon, and I didn't advance it properly when I loaded it. And so every time I would advance, I'd take a picture and I'd advance the camera. It wasn't really advancing the film. So all the pictures I took, about 36 pictures, and because back then I was shooting film, you don't shoot as many photos, right? All the photos I took in Los Angeles weren't really photos because the film wasn't advancing. So that's the last photo I had of that trip. So that's pretty hilarious. All right, so let's see here. Saw your loom shots of the diver on Facebook or Instagram. Can't remember. Oh my gosh, the loom is amazing on this watch. Super drain in life. Don't get married. Well, marry up. Marry somebody with money. Can't stop looking at my Rolex. Rolexes rule, man. They're a fantastic watch. The only step up from them for an everyday, wear all the time watch, the only step up is Grand Seiko from there. Okay, so let me get caught up on these comments. Don't get married, super drain. Okay, I said married up. Saw you. Okay, read that. I need to try the diver. By the way, fleeces are there to make sure we get good pre-owned cars. If you must buy a new car, make it a Prius or Honda Civic. I agree, Brian, because some of those cars don't depreciate really that much the first year or two. So it almost like I bought my Prius new, my 2004 Prius, but see, I still have it. So that's the key. I'm taking good care of it. I keep it inside. It only has about 120,000 miles on it. It still runs great. Original hybrid battery pack. It's in great shape. I'll probably drive that thing another 10 years. So my cost of ownership really will be relatively low because I'm keeping it so long. And it's really been super reliable. I've spent just normal maintenance, just fluids, stuff like that. It still has the original spark plugs in it. Runs great. Let's see. Nice. Do you still shoot with Nikon? No, about 5 years ago, I switched over, and I've got reviews of all this on my channel, all my Sony gear. I switched over to Sony because Nikon was really lagging behind on video. I love Nikon. I love the glass. I had the 24-70 f2.8 and the 70-200 f2.8. I hated selling that gear. But they were just dragging their heels on video, and video was becoming more and more important to me. So I made the jump to Sony, and I'm glad I did. I really like I have the Sony a7S Mark II, and I have the Sony a6500, and I have some really good glass for both. For the a7S Mark II, I usually have the 85mm G Master lens on it at all times. And then on the a6500 right there, that's this camera shot right here. That's the 24mm Sony Zeiss f1.8 lens on that, and I've got it at f3.2 right now. My brother is a fine art photographer in Leesburg. You should check him out. Oh, cool. Cool. Well, Leesburg, if you're talking about Leesburg, Virginia, that's right around the corner from me. Next time you're in town visiting, Eric, we'll have to get together. The state is the third party to your marriage by contract. There, okay. Well, I'm not going to get married anymore. I can tell you that. I'm done with the marriage thing. But that's that. That's a whole nother story for a whole nother day. So let's do a quick time check here. And you talk about spot on. You all that have Rolexes, you can go ahead and set your Rolex now. Use this. Use this to set your Rolex, to calculate your Rolex. And by the way, depending on where the second hand is around the dial, it looks like it's not pointing at the markers, but it points right at the markers. It's just a question of the angle of the camera. Like right there, notice it's pointing right at the marker. when it's down at the bottom, because it depends on its distortion. As it gets to different parts, because of the camera angle, it looks like it's not pointed at the marker. But it is, in real life, it's actually pointed at the marker at all times. It's like spot, spot, spot on. Yeah, there's another one of these on eBay for sale. I think around $3,700 or something. But there's not that many of them. There's another one that's like $4,600 or something that's like brand spanking new. The other one's real nice. See right there now it looks like it's not pointed at the markers? That's just the angle of the camera doing that. A little bit of distortion. But yeah, it would probably be nice if this thing was 37, 38 millimeter maybe. Maybe it'd be a little bit better, but I kind of like the smaller size. The times I've worn it, I've really liked it because it just goes right under the cuff. Like right now is a perfect example. Over here, notice I've got my cuff down. Here I don't. I've got it rolled up. It's about right here. Okay, I've got the sleeves rolled up because this watch will not fit under this cuff on this shirt is very tight. This shirt, by the way, is about 20, no, more than that. This shirt dates from about the same time as this jacket, now that I think about it. So this shirt I got actually before. This is early 80s. This shirt is like 30 or 40 years old, okay? This is a Willis & Geiger safari shirt. This is the real deal, okay? This was back when Willis & Geiger made the real deal. Very tightly woven Egyptian cotton. And the reason that this sleeve is so tight is they didn't want mosquitoes to be able to come up inside. Okay? That on purpose. Because mosquitoes cannot bite through this cloth. It's so tightly woven. So that's Willis & Geiger. So if you ever stumble across some of their original stuff, back when it was made in the USA, when it was the real deal, very hard to find. But if you stumble across that in a thrift store or something, lock and load, do not pass go, get it. And this thing has worn really well. I had about a half a dozen of them, and I'm down to one left. And that's this one. So there you go. I've got some other ones that are safari cloth shirts that are from the original Banana Republic when they were out in San Francisco, when it was the couple doing it. And those are the real deal, too. But not like this Willis & Geiger. This is like, you can't, these shirts were amazing. Freaking shirts. Okay. Empty your mailbox, please, sir. It tells me it's full. What mailbox, Joe? What mailbox? Do you see the Grand Seiko Sport, the Japanese model, actually has loom? Yeah, there are some Japanese ones that have loom, absolutely. You're using your lenses, Craig. Do you know you're supposed to store your investment lenses in the safety deposit box along with your investment piece, steel Rolexes? That's great. Brian, this brings up the subject of what we call digital rot. And I've explained this to some of my clients that buy some gear to be able to do videos with and things like that, or buy a computer or whatever. Here's the thing. When you buy a computer, a digital camera or a computer, anything like that, use the heck out of it. Because from the time you buy it, it's in effect sitting there and rotting, whether you're using it or not. We call that digital rot. In other words, it's becoming obsolete. It's slowly but surely becoming obsolete. And the more you use it during that life cycle, the more value you get out of it. So my portrait lens, I take portraits all the time with that lens. And when I'm at an event, I take people's portraits. You know, I take a bunch of portraits, right? Because I'm not going to wear that lens out. I want to get more value out of it. I want to get use out of that piece of gear. Even my wireless mics, I use the heck out of them. I'm using this gear right now. And so if you buy something like that, that has a certain lifespan, milk the use out of that thing. Try to get your dollars worth out of it. Okay, man, the internet in Virginia must be horrible. It should be pretty good. No mosquitoes or Thai girls. Sounds like a nightmare. What do you think of the Citizen Chronomaster? I'm not familiar with it. Did you wear Apple Watch as health and sports tools? I wore my Apple Watch for about 2 years. It's parked right now. I might buy one of the new Apple Watches at some point, but I'm not sure. I really like this diver. I really like wearing this. Like I wore the SBDC 007, the Shogun diver, for about 2 years. And this thing trumps that big time. Just the accuracy alone, it's every bit as comfortable. It even looks better than that watch. I mean, it just takes that watch to a whole nother level. What do you all think? How does this look on wrist? What do you all think? Okay, if you like what this looks like on wrist, put a Y in the comments. Y for yes. Y for yes. Put an N for no. N for get rid of it, don't keep it, ditch the watch. That'd be an N. A Y is a yes. Okay? D1XS. Still using my Nikon D1. Oh, wow. Yeah, I had a Nikon F3 high eye point was my film watch. I mean, my film watch, film camera. And then my last Nikon was the D700 for digital. I love that D700. That was a great, looks awesome, great proportion. I think 36 millimeter Explorer would go nicely with that outfit. Absolutely it would. 36 millimeter Explorer would go nicely with any outfit. We're getting a lot of Ys. Oh, I got an N from Kitty. I think I need a close. You mean a close-up, Eddie? If I get closer, it'll be out of focus. This is focused on this plane right here. If I get too close, it'll get blurry. Besides, I've had it over there before, but I get a lot of Ys in here. Only one N. So there you go. I mean, you all are honest. I'm honest with you all. And by the way, this guy said, the guy that unsubscribed, he said that I'm too blunt and too honest. He says that he would rather me tell him what he wants to hear. So that's a problem because I tend to be honest with my viewers and with my supporters. You all are supporting this channel by watching and interacting. And as a consequence, I think I should be honest with you. Put an H in the comments if you think that I should be honest with you, even if it means saying something you don't want to hear, even if it means I'm a little bit blunt sometimes. Put an H if you want honesty. Put an N if you want nice. If you want me to be nice. Put an N if you want me to be nice. Put an H if you want honesty. Okay, after collecting Rolexes and Omegas, I'm really attracted by Grand Seikos. I'll tell you, once you own one, if you get the right one, that's the trick, is you really want to be selective. You want to get the right one. People want their ears tickled. Too honest, ha ha ha, that guy wants people to stroke his ego. H, here's an H for honest. We got another H. Patrick's got an H. We got a lot of H's in here. A lot of H's. Because a lot of the other channels do say what they think people want to hear. And, you know, hey man, these steel Rolexes are going to keep going up in price. I mean, they're a great investment. If you can get one from an AD for list price, buy it even if you don't need it. Put it in the safety deposit box. They say all this stuff that first of all it helps them, and it's what their echo chamber. It's what everybody wants to hear, right? Honest opinion, it looks like a Rolex Submariner wannabe. I'll tell you what, until you wear one, you don't understand really what it's all about. I mean, you really have to wear and experience one of these. You have to see one in person to know the quality, and that they just take everything to that next level. Here's the Rolex down right here. Okay, here's all normal watches. Here's the Rolex here, and here's Grand Seiko up here. I mean, it just takes everything to another level. H, but not offensive. Yeah, but some people take honesty as being offensive, especially if it doesn't agree with what they say. Women can't do H. Yeah, well, there aren't that many women watching this. Your $200 Seiko is poor class. Click on my affiliate link. There we go. We're all over your affiliate link, Bob. We're all over it. Can we get a collab video with Archie Luxury? I don't know. I hired him to do. He did a meal deal review on a couple of my watches a while back. Maybe we can get Archie in the house sometimes, but he'd probably use a bunch of foul language. I can't do that on my channel here. The finishing on GS is far superior to any sub. Yes, it is. Absolutely. People want to hear Dan Henry and Squale make great one. Eric's Lemmy, you should see this Tudor Black Bay Chrono on the wrist today. Oh my God, sell that thing, Eric. Oh my God. Get rid of that thing and put it in your Roth IRA, for God's sakes, man. You're 40 years old. You're going to be rich, you listen to me. You're going to be wealthy, man. No, offensive is when someone has a different opinion, calling it a stupid opinion. Well, if your opinion's different to me, it is stupid, okay, Kitty? I'm right. I'm always right. Don't you know that? Even when I'm wrong, I'm right. I don't like foul language either, Patrick. There's Patrick. Yeah, occasionally I'll let something slip, but I try not to. So there's that. But Archie needs the entirety of the English language to properly express himself. Archie's funny. I like watching Archie sometimes. I wish he would take better care of himself. He was out walking the other day, and he says he was going to walk for 10 minutes. I didn't have the heart to tell him I walk for 2 hours every day. 2 hours, like clockwork. I walk every freaking day. I walk about 8 miles. People have a prejudice on Seikos. Think Seiko is the Toyota watches. Well, that's saying something. Toyota is a great freaking car. Grand Seikos are superb. Yeah, they're like a Lexus. Really, if you think about it. And a Lexus is better than any Mercedes, any BMW, any Volvo, any Audi. Lexus is far superior. And Kitty, that's not my opinion. That's fact. Lexus is a better car. Okay? That is a fact, okay? Get facts straight, Kitty. Kitty's in the basement. He's in his mom's basement. He's a little bit confused. Give Kitty a little bit of time to straighten out, okay? I guess Kitty's a he. I wonder if Kitty's a she. Do we have any she's at all in this chat? I don't think so. Why would a she put up with all this stuff? I feel like half the Rolex owners who own Tudors wear them because they're too afraid of taking their Rolexes out of the safety deposit boxes. Oh, my gosh. Oh, that's terrible. Yeah, heaven forbid they get a scratch and then they can't sell it for, double full pop retail. The system wants everyone to be stupid so the corporate world can cheat us. Absolutely, they want everybody to be sheeple. They call them sheeple. We want Archie so we don't make the same mistake. We watch Archie. Okay. I agree with that. I own a Forerunner, dude. There you go, Kitty. Kitty's not an idiot after all. A little bit slow, but not a total idiot. We'll give Kitty some cred for owning a Forerunner. The problem with Seiko is they don't understand marketing. Oh, absolutely, they do no marketing. But that's actually good because they can't make that many more than they're making right now. There's a lot of handwork in these things. They really can't scale. They can't scale anything like Rolex. They can't make that many watches. So the fact that they're not good at marketing as far as the Grand Seikos go, I'm not talking about Seiko watches. They sell a lot of them. But as far as Grand Seikos go, they can't make that many of them. So there's probably really no reason for them to do any more marketing because they're selling by word of mouth pretty well to match their production. Is the Indiana kit to get you through the snow? Okay, so I put this all on because there's the same jacket is for sale right now on eBay. Let me bring it up in case somebody wants to get one. This is a pretty good deal. I was tempted to buy it just to have it as a backup, but I don't need it. I have a bunch of Bombers jackets. By the way, I have a video on my channel here of the 5 best Bombers jackets. I'd say GS is more like an Acura. No, it's better than an Acura. It's Lexus level, man. It's Lexus level. It's a step or two up from an Acura. Okay, now, let me pull up the coat. Let me pull up the coat, folks. I mentioned this at the beginning of the broadcast, and then I failed to show it to you. For somebody that wears a size large, about a size 42 or size large, this is worth snagging, in my humble expert opinion. Oh, it's got a bid. Doggone it. It didn't have any bids before. Now it's got a bid. Hold on a second. I'm bringing it up. I'll show it to you. I will show it to you. Okay, here it is. This is the Indiana Jones Raiders jacket. Now, this one is a little different. A lot of these were custom made, and so you could order the interior the way you wanted it. And that'll touch up. That little bit of scuffing there, you could just touch that up. A little bit of leather treatment, that'd be fine. See, this one has the cotton and then the satin-lined sleeves, which is good. When you're putting your arms in and out, it goes in and out easily with the satin. Again, you can touch up that little wearing he's got there. That's nothing major. It looks like it's in pretty good shape, and the leather in these is really nice. Of course, you guys saw Raiders of the Lost Ark. I hope you saw it. I know you're all young, but that's still a good movie to watch. But that's the jacket, and it's got a bid now, though. It's at $52. It would probably be worth paying $60 plus the shipping. You'd be in it for $70. I wouldn't go much more than that. But they are really nice jackets, made in England. So anyway, that's why I put this jacket on, because I happened to notice that, and I figured I'd do the Indiana Jones thing. All right, let's catch up. Up until a year ago, the dial on a $45,000 Platinum Limited Edition GS was the same as a $35 5. Until a year ago. I don't know about that. I'm not so sure about that. Evening, Craig. Greetings from Norway. Looking great today. How many hats do you own? Too many. Too many hats. I used to, every time I would travel, a lot of times I would forget to take a hat with me, and then I'd be out and about and I'd want a hat, and so I'd buy one. And every time I went to New York, just about, I went to the hatter there, because they always fit perfectly when you get it from the right hatter. They fit them just right. And so no, I'm not going to buy any more, though. I can tell you that most of them are at least 20 or 30 years old. Most of the hats that I have, I bought them back in the day, just like most of my clothes. I don't buy any clothes anymore because I don't need any. I've got 2 huge walk-in closets full of clothes that I can't wear out in the rest of my lifetime. I finally came to the conclusion that there's no way I can wear out all the clothes that I have, so why buy anything else? And that was like 10 years ago I came to that conclusion. Grand Seiko diver. And fortunately for me, they made clothes a lot better back then, so most of my clothes are actually a lot better than what I could buy now. So go figure that. Grand Seiko diver is the Lexus LS 570 of watches. Good point. Greetings from Australia. Very nice. I guess they meant customized. Looks nice. I'd like one. I'd like to own one. Greeting from Italy. Best wishes from Spain. This is good. See, this is good that people, since I started earlier, some other people were able to watch that normally it would be too late for them. Aren't you afraid of too much flash? They rob you, Houston. So you're saying in Houston you would get robbed? Here's the thing about that, is there are cities that are dangerous, and there are places that you will go that are dangerous. And even when I went to Moscow, there were some places that could have been a little bit dangerous. You always want to have a local with you. You always want to move along, act like you know what you're doing. Don't act confused. Don't be standing around looking around like you're lost, because you know they will zoom in on you. Always have a purpose. Always act like you're going somewhere, even if you're not. Fake it. There's certain things you can do to avoid altercations. But if an altercation does come up, then you got to deal with it. And you got to make them understand, that predator, you got to make them understand that you're not easy prey. All right? Somehow, some way, you got to make them understand that. So there's that. But the best thing is to stay in areas that aren't as dangerous. Like right now, I'm in a very secure area right near Camp David. Extremely secure. Did I say it's extremely secure? Nobody can get anywhere near my place, okay? Not even freaking close. So I'm not worried about anything. I don't even have to lock my door. I mean, it's that freaking secure. Can you do a video of your hats, please? Would be cool to see them and some story behind them. I do have a video up, I think, on some of my hats here on the channel. Actually, I have several videos, but I can do something at some point. We could do a live thing where I can just have a whole bunch of them here sometime. We can probably do that. Can we purchase that type of bracelet from Seiko? What is it called or number, if you please, Craig? You mean this bracelet here? They do make similar bracelets to these Grand Seiko bracelets on some of the Seiko models, do have it. Now, I'm not an expert on bracelets, but I know that company Strap Code makes some bracelets for different Seikos in different styles. And from what I've heard, some of them are really nice. But do some independent research on that, because I haven't tested any of them out. But yeah, with Seikos, there are a lot of bracelet options between Seiko and between, I think it's called Strap Code. You can get a lot of different bracelets that are made to fit them, because they sell so many watches that there's those aftermarket bracelets available. And from what I understand, some of them fit really well and are actually done really well. Egyptian cotton is becoming a rarity these days. I hear you. I hear you. Even classic attire changes with time. Not much, Gary. Not if you get really conservative stuff. Now, obviously, this hat looks a little bit dated, right? But you could wear it. You could wear it really any time. It's not like people are going to like smack you and say, "Hey, you're wearing an old hat." I mean, a lot of people actually respect if you're wearing something older, like an older sport coat or something, as long as it's in really nice shape and it looks good. A lot of people take that as validation that you're conservative and that you don't follow the trends and that you don't always go out and buy the latest thing. I mean, a lot of people respect that, and it will not backfire on you. It will be a positive thing for you, I think. And a lot of people just don't care, aren't going to care. I've noticed that about the quality of things that are being made now. My mom gave me an electric hand mixer from the 70s. It's still exactly, Patrick. Exactly, Patrick. I hope your Hatter wasn't wearing a Panerai, because otherwise he would have been a Mad Hatter. Okay, there you go. I like the GS, but none of the ones having IC or quartz in them. I know you think that's an idiotic opinion. No, that Kitty, it's okay. If you want an all manual, movement, I'm not going to ding you for that. I just like the accuracy of the others. Go ahead and hate away. You should embrace different options. Decency 101. Well, no. If an option is wrong, I should not embrace it. See, that's the problem with a lot of you youngsters. Get off my lawn. A lot of you youngsters these days, you think that having different opinions about various things is good. Not always. Sometimes you're wrong. Like getting a whole bunch of tattoos, for example. That's a mistake, okay? First of all, it costs money. Second of all, some employers are not going to particularly like it. Now, if you're a professional rap singer, maybe that's a different thing, but I'm just talking about most normal employers, it's not necessarily going to be a plus if you got a whole bunch of tattoos and nose rings and lip rings and all kinds of stuff like that. That is not a good decision for you to spend money on something like that, okay? And you can say, well, I have a different opinion, but that doesn't make you right. All right? So some things that you do are destructive and are not good, even if you have the opinion that they're good. Okay? Sitting in your mom's basement and eating a whole bunch of potato chips every day is not a good thing to be doing. All right? Even if your opinion is that it's fine. So there you go. That's my second preaching rant for the day, or maybe my third. Hello from across the pond. Arrow leather jacket makers in Scotland. Best leather jackets in the world, period. I bet you they are good. I've got a sport coat in there that came from Scotland that's out of this freaking world. You guys want me to put it on? Tell me in the comments section that you want me to put it on, and I'll go put it on. Okay. Best wishes from the UK. Yes, Strap Code has some very nice bracelets. Ordered the Oyster for my Alpinist. Have you gotten it yet? What is the best watch? 500 and under. I wonder if you could buy an SBDC 007, the Shogun, for $500. I wonder if you could snag one for that. That would be a hell of a buy. The Shogun SBDC 007. See if you could snag one for that. Class and elegance never go out of fashion. There you go. Beaver from EME, the Hamilton Khaki Auto. Very true about quality items. They last longer and give you more joy to use. Absolutely. I'd rather buy less items and buy quality. Having an opinion in support walking into oncoming traffic is an example of being wrong. Not yet. Next week. Okay, so they don't want to see the sport coat. All right, that's good. I don't have to get up then. Okay, let's see what else we're going to do here. Let's do a time check. Time check. All of you Rolex owners, oh, by the way, I'm going to go get some H2O while doing the time check. But by the meantime, you Rolex owners can synchronize with this Grand Seiko. Okay, let's see what we got here. Switching back to this camera. All right, let's see what we got in the comments. Very true about, okay, I already read that. Thanks. Okay, they got read that. Next week, okay. I buy all my clothes at Goodwill. Well, Eddie, that's a good move. If you've got a good eye and you can really go through them and you can, and you know the correct brands and all to buy, after a while, you'll get the feel of it as far as fabrics and things like that. You'll be able to immediately tell what the real deal is. But you can snag some deals. You can absolutely snag some deals. It depends on the Goodwill. A buddy of mine used to have a whole circuit that he would do, and it wouldn't just be Goodwills. It'd be all different thrift stores and stuff that on a Saturday, he would go like hopping from one to the other. It was sort of like a hobby for him. And he knew some of the things that I liked, so he picked some things up for me from time to time. And a lot of stuff he resold and all. He was actually doing a business of it. And he'd get really nice shirts, really nice pinpoint Oxford button-down collar, really high-end from like Nordstrom's or, just good stuff. Because he knew all the brands to look for, and he had an evil eye. He'd look them over, make sure there wasn't anything wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. You can get some super buys. I should also note that my longtime Rolex friend has a Grand Seiko bug. He also gets watches from Little Treasury. Does he have a Grand Seiko yet, or does he just have the bug? Wearing my snowflake today, what a beauty. That is a sad story, Craig. Which story? I run Goodwill Circuit often. There you go. Well, one advantage my buddy had was we're in a very affluent area, and he was in Bethesda, which is like one of the wealthiest areas in the country. And so, but what was funny was he would go over into Prince George's County, which was not as wealthy, and he would sometimes find, that was like a neighboring county, he would sometimes find even better things there because the people weren't as aware of what they were looking at. And yet some of the things that were donated that came from like Chevy Chase, Bethesda, the wealthy areas, some of those things would end up in the stores in Prince George's County. And so he'd get things from different places. And it was very, very interesting. Sad story. Have you seen the SBGA 387 model? If it's the one I'm thinking about, yes. I think I have a video clip of it. Let me just double check which one that is. I think you might be talking about the limited edition one, but let me just make sure. Yeah, I think that's the limited edition. Yeah, I've got a video clip of that in one of my videos from Little Treasury. That's a beautiful piece. Eric had one, and he returned it, and then he got the one he has. I still got electronic stuff made in USA, Japan, and Germany that still work perfectly. Well, there you go. Craig, do you expect to have a cool watch when you're very old? Probably this one. I think this one will last the rest of my life, no problem. And probably this one over here. Probably that puppy right there. I think that's a good 1-2 combo meal. I think when I need to put on a suit coat to go somewhere, put on a suit, I just don that little 18-karat gold puppy right there. And then all the other time, I just don this little monster. I don't think it's going to wear out. How long do you think this watch will last me? Put in the chat 10 if you think it'll last me 10 years, 20 if you think it'll last me 20 years, 30 if you think it'll last me 30 years. I'll be 90 then. If you think I'm going to live to 100, put 40 in there. Put it'll last me 40 years. So put in the chat by decade how many years you think this will last. Okay. This is great to listen to while at work. I wonder, do those other people do the same thing, or does anybody have a real job anymore? Nobody has a real job anymore, Eric. You're the only one. You're supporting all the rest of us by working. Keep at it. We're gonna snap the whip. By the way, I have the whip in here too. I have the Indiana Jones whip if you want to see that. Youngster in the basement. I'm 53, speak 3 languages, English not my first, and got master's in engineering. What qualifications do you have, Mr. Knows It All, from the top of the fake horological pedestal? See, Kitty, I mean, I know that you have a lot of problems and all, but you really shouldn't air them out in public here. I mean, you really should, keep your problems to yourself, your deep-seated emotional problems and your metaphysical problems until death, Craig. Well, there you go. He says it will outlast you, I'd say. I think you're absolutely correct. I don't think there's any doubt that this thing is going to outlast me. But Kitty said that none of my heirs are going to want it. They're not going to fight over the Grand Seiko. They're not going to care. Oh, boy. That's sad. Maybe they'll want my hat. What do you think? Think they'll fight over my hat? Have any interesting clocks? Not really. Not really. Even in San Diego, where I'm originally from, a lot of upper middle class people shop at Goodwill for high quality bargains. Hell yeah. They didn't get upper middle class by wasting money. I won't live to 90. You might. They're making a new Indiana Jones movie. I wonder who's going to be in it. Yeah, Harrison Ford called. He wants his hat back. Yeah, this actually isn't the same hat as he had. This hat actually predates the movie. This hat's from like the 60s or 70s. 70s, I think. I think middle 70s, something like that. Okay. Let's see what else we're going to look at before we wrap up here. Well, let's do one more time check. Joe G, your Gmail address. My Gmail is my name at gmail.com. CraigShipp@gmail.com. So you can figure out how to spell my name. It's that at gmail.com. I had an exciting job. Let's switch the time check here while I read these here. Okay. I had an exciting job getting blown up in Afghanistan, Trashkanistan. So now I can watch Craig full time. Uh-oh. Well, that's not good. Shouldn't have gotten blown up. We don't like that. Could you please tell me the Seiko you are wearing? It is a diver. It is a Grand Seiko diver. What is the model? Is it SBDC 231, I think? Let me check the model number. I should know that off the top of my head, shouldn't I? No, it'd be an SBGA 231, I think. I have a bunch of reviews on my channel. Yeah, it's a SBGA 231. $7,100 retail. And here's one for $69.95. You can get a discount from an AD, from an authorized dealer. So there's that. Talk to Steve at Little Treasury Jewelers. He'll hook you up. No, it was a SBGA 231. I'm sorry. SBGA 231 is the model. Okay. Sad is to dress up and get high from arse kissers on the internet at your very old age. My subscription canceled to Mr. Ego. Nobody. I thought you had already canceled your subscription. Darn. I guess it was somebody else who canceled theirs. So I lost 2 subscribers. Darn. What am I going to do? What am I going to do if I keep losing these trolls? Oh, well. A moment of silence. We've lost Kitty. Kitty. Anybody with a username Kitty and a generic icon. What a loss. Here's the thing, Kitty. My sponsors, they want viewers that can actually afford to buy a Grand Seiko, so they don't really want people like you that are broke. They want people that have some means that can actually buy a Grand Seiko. So if you drop your subscription, then that's not a big loss. So there you go. Kitty Boo Boo looks like a Google shill. Oh, boy. Poor little boy. He's got a lot of problems. Let's not pick on him because he could become suicidal. Okay? He could become suicidal. As Archie says, Indiana Jones reboot. I can't say it like Archie. I cannot do like Archie. Rest in peace, Kitty Boy. Future plans for this channel. More watch reviews. Future plans. I don't even buy green bananas anymore. As Kitty pointed out, I'm old, okay? I'm not planning for the future. You youngsters should be planning for the future. If I was living in the US, I would have sent a few to you for reviewing. I'll cry in my beer. Have you seen a Crador? I would love to see a Crador. But they're not over here that much in the US. If you had to choose between your 2 GS, which one would you pick? Oh, the diver. Because I don't dress in a suit that often. If I wore a suit and, shirt collars and all that, and I had to slip it under the shirt cuff, often, if I dressed like that all the time, then I would have just this watch here. That would be fine. I could wear that watch all the time. If I was a lawyer or whatever and I was always dressing in suits, then I'd have no problem wearing that dress watch all the time. But I don't. I dress casually a lot of the time, and so this watch really gets it done for me. Plus, I can read this without my reading glasses. Plus all the other reasons I said. So there's that. Let's see if you, okay. Stop offending Craig, a real gentleman and educated person. Okay. All right. There we go. Hi from Croatia. Hello. Absolutely. I'd love to go to Croatia sometime. I make too much money to invest in Roth IRA. You can do what's called a backdoor IRA. Google that. Check Dave Ramsey says how to do it, but it is doable. I do it. It's called a backdoor IRA. There's a little bit of a technique that you go through to do it. Do a little research on that. But yes, you can do a Roth IRA. Now, it depends on your age as to whether or not it really makes sense to do. If you're over 35 or 40 years of age, maybe not. But if you're like 30 years old or younger, if you're fairly young, it's definitely worth it to do an IRA. And yes, you can do what's called a backdoor Roth. Craig has his what together. How about us? Okay. I'm older than you most likely. So you're older than me, Eddie. I'll be 61 in February, I think. I was born in 58. Okay. Check out the sleeper of GS line, SPGA 283. That's the one you have, right, Eric? That's a beauty. That's a beautiful watch. Eric, you better hold on to that puppy because I don't think you're going to get another snag like that. I think that's your snag of the century. Sorry, Craig. I was telling Kitty to stop offending you. Oh, Kitty's got problems. We shouldn't rag on Kitty. Kitty could hang up, could commit suicide if we better go easier on Kitty. Kitty's got a lot of problems. What brand is the level of GS for you? Price quality. There's nothing that can touch GS at its anywhere near its price as far as quality. There's no other watch that offers the quality of a GS at that price point, in my opinion. Do you watch any other watch channels? Yes, I watch Archie sometimes. I like Tim. I like some of his reviews. Modern watches. Sleeper, please. Chronomaster destroys the Seiko 9F. 9F is fantastic. I don't think anything can top the 9F. I mean, my God, it's super robust. It'll last 50 years. Super accurate. Within 10 seconds a year, that's good enough for me. I know that some of those are within a second or two a year or something ridiculous. And of course, GS has some that are within 5 seconds a year. Of course, that's what they say, and they always understate, remember. If they say 10 seconds a year, you can probably count on 3 seconds a year because they always err on the side of understating what their watches will do. Value for the money. The only thing you could buy that's a good value would be like a Rolex 36 mil Datejust. Those are going, some of the older ones are going for pretty good prices as far as you can get a lot of watch for the money. But you can't beat the Grand Seiko. I mean, that watch that Eric got, that buy he got, you can't beat that with a stick. He got a hell of a buy on that one. If he's still here, he can chime in and explain to you what he did. He snagged that thing. He's a freaking superstar. Now all he has to do is get rid of those Tudors, and he'll be cooking with the hot sauce. And for God's sakes, Eric, don't lease any more cars. Buy your next cars. Paying way too much to lease. Okay, let's see what else we got here. I've seen a Crador at a watch event. All I can say is wow. But some of them are kind of gaudy looking. But yeah, some of them are pretty fantastic. I hear you. The Chronomaster has twice the accuracy. Yeah, but Bob, I mean, let's say my watch is within, let's say, 5 seconds a year. I mean, that's pretty good. I mean, it's pretty insane to say that you need better accuracy than that. Just saying. You think Grand Seikos may gain value in price? No, they're a depreciating asset. They're not an appreciating asset, just like Rolexes lose value, even though all these log rollers will tell you the opposite, that they're a good investment and all that. Most people lose money on their Rolexes. They're not investments. None of these watches are investments. Watch my video that I did about investments, about watches as investments. You're getting into a trick bag if you're trying to think of watches as an investment, or if you're even worried about them holding their value. That tells me that you should not be buying it. You should spend 1 week's wages on a watch. No more, no less. 1 week's wages is plenty to spend on a watch. And then you don't worry about it. You don't worry about if the value goes up or down or whatever, because it's not a big part of your life. If you're spending a big chunk of your money on a watch, I would suggest that you might want to check your priorities around a little bit. Okay, let's see what else I'm getting. And I'm going to I'm going to. I hear you, Bob. I'm going to wrap this pretty soon. If you're watching archery, there's drama developing. It's like season series on Netflix. He is on his way to Sydney Exchange to get his watches back. Oh, jeez. I'm just pushing your button. Okay, I got that. Seiko uses 9F in their tuna saturation diver because it's so robust and serviceable. Absolutely. It's insane how good that movement is. I would never buy a quartz watch. Your loss, Bob. Your loss. When I subbed, I saw a Sony lens review thinking this was a photo gear channel. Now I get to watch all kinds of stuff from Frederick. I'm not so into watches, but I'm here for the social stuff. Well, there you go. Well, this channel, my channel is more, it's like a catch-all. I do a lot of stuff for local businesses. I own Frederick.com as a community website here for Frederick County, Maryland. I do a lot of stuff to help promote local businesses, and I cover some local events. And then I also do a lot of product reviews on anything I use, like my camera gear, audio equipment, and anything I use, even some clothing reviews and boots and shoes. And I do reviews on things I like and things I use. I was an appraiser for many years, so I have an eye for quality and things like that. And so I like to share stuff that I find to be of high quality. So you're going to find a lot of videos like that on my channel. Watch videos are a small part of my channel. Absolutely. Here recently I've been doing a lot more, but in the overall scheme of things, it's not a large part of what my channel's about. And now we got Cowgirls Live Monday nights at 10 p.m. You guys should check that show out and follow her and encourage her. We did the first show Monday night, this past Monday. So go there and check it out and put some comments and show some support for Sarah. She's a nice girl. She's going to be doing a good job. And she's a lot prettier than me, so there you go. But look for some interesting content coming from her. Hi, always great watch knowledge. Thanks for all. I own Rolex Explorer 1. Excellent watch. Omega Moon watch. I'd sell that one. I want a third watch. Different brand. Maybe 2 to 3 watches you'd recommend. Sell the Omega while you can, and take your time and pick out the right GS for you. Everybody has different wants and needs. I love this diver. Okay? But everybody has different wants and needs. But take your time and pick out the right GS for you and buy it. You will be over the moon. You'll be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe the quality of this thing. And I would recommend either the spring drive or the 9F quartz, because you've already got a great automatic watch in the Rolex Explorer 1. So you got that covered. I just get rid of the moon watch. You don't really need that unless you're a race car driver and you need that timer function. I would get rid of that watch. It's really not that great a watch. And I would get the right Grand Seiko. What do you think about spring drive GMT compared to the non-GMT spring drive? Okay, the spring drive GMT, there's a titanium one that I almost bought. The only reason I bought this is because it has the extension bracelet, where you can extend it very easily. The GMT doesn't, but the GMT does have the micro adjustments, which I like. The GMT is gorgeous. So I would get the spring drive GMT either in steel or in titanium. That's a fantastic watch. But if you don't need the GMT function, then yeah, there are a lot of other options, including that entry-level spring drive that's really affordable and that Eric got recently. Check out his channel, his unboxing of it. Good live stream. I have to head out. Take it easy, you guys. Take it easy, Patrick. Nothing wrong with a Grand Seiko quartz watch. Oh, man, they're fantastic. Can a man with a small wrist pull off a GS Snowflake? How small? Tell me the size. I would say if your wrist is smaller than 7 inches or 6 3/4, you could probably pull it off. I don't know if I'd go much smaller than 6 3/4 inches. I think I'd get a smaller watch if that was the case. Think I could get cheap deal on Grand Seiko if I travel to Hong Kong. I have a trip next spring. I don't know, Randy. I heard that they don't really sell that cheap there. I think eBay is your best bet for a deal. And then you're generally speaking not going to pay any tax. That's how Eric got his. He got a hell of a deal on that watch. He got like 40% off list. List is $3,200. I think he paid $2,200 for that watch. I mean, that's insane. That's a hell of a deal for a hell of a watch. Thanks on your watch knowledge. Never knew Grand Seiko existed until a few days ago. I've got a lot of videos on the channel here about them. So, will you pay for Sarah's hula hooping classes? If she wants to learn hula hooping, absolutely I would pay for it. I have to check out the GS divers again. Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for answering the questions. You should do more lives. I've been doing them almost every day recently, Jeff. 6 3/4 is the perfectly fine wrist size for watches. Yeah, but he didn't say the size of his wrist yet. So I don't know. If his wrist is smaller than that, I would probably not recommend a snowflake if it's smaller than that. Eric, what's your take on the watch you got? How small a wrist could you pull that off on? Chime in, because his watch is a little smaller. It's 39 millimeter. Chime in what size wrist you think would be required for your watch, Eric, that you just got. Eric just shared in the comments what he paid. And also put the model number back in the chat again, Eric, just so they have the model number again. Steve has the best prices on GS. I have to call and get a discount. Yeah, Steve does work with you, because especially if you tell him you know me, you found out about him through me, he will work with you on the price. He'll give you a good deal, as long as you're not jerking him around. And he gets the biggest allocation. Because he sells the most watches, he gets a really good allocation from Grand Seiko. And of course, one of the reasons why he sells so many watches is because I've been talking about him. So there's that. And since he doesn't pay anything for all this advertising, this is like all free advertising for him, he can pass on the benefit of that by giving you a good discount. Crador, we've seen in London, extraordinary, but you can't clearly see the time. They have markers. Yeah, see, that's the thing with some of these fancy dress watches. Oh, 7-inch wrist, Dario? Absolutely, you could pull off a snowflake, in my opinion. Absolutely, you could pull it off. If that's what you're saying. Please give me your response to the Chronomaster's superior accuracy. I answered that. I said that the rating on my watch check, the rating on this watch right here that we're looking at is 10 seconds a year. And Grand Seiko, generally speaking, understates things like that. So that means it's probably going to be accurate to within like 5 seconds a year. They have another model that is accurate to within 5 seconds a year, which probably means it's accurate to within 2 or 3 seconds a year, because they always understate their ratings. So for me, that is plenty accurate. I don't need anything more accurate than that. Period. Full stop. I mean, that's a fraction of a second a month. Okay, Eric says, I'm 6.75-inch wrist, and it could go down from there for sure. The GS wears small. The big diver even worked on my wrist. I bet 6.5-inch or maybe even smaller could work on the SPGA 283. So there you go. There's some valuable information from Eric's Learning Channel. Click on his thing there and subscribe to his channel. He's going to be bringing some valuable information, but don't listen to him when it comes to financial advice because he's leasing 2 cars. So definitely don't listen to his financial advice, but go ahead and listen to him when it comes to watches, because except for when he talks about the Tudors. My gosh, pass on the Tudors. Take a full pass on the Tudors. Did I tell you people do not go out and buy a Tudor watch? Okay? Oh my goodness, people. Is it true that they will start charging sales tax for online purchases? Some purchases are you're already paying it on Amazon. In some cases, I'm already paying it. I'm sure that's on its way. Did you purchase yours from private sale? He purchased it on eBay because I told him about it. I'm into watches and don't know my wrist size. Shame on me. Well, there you go. Measure it. All right. Well, I think I'm going to wrap. We've been broadcasting for a while, 1 hour and 20 minutes. Can you imagine how time flies? So the whole point of this broadcast was to bring you all up to date that the Snowflake has been shipped. So I'm down to 2 Grand Seikos right now. I've got the Diver, which has always been my favorite. It's the first one I bought. It's always been my favorite, my first love. And then I've got the dress watch for when I need something smaller to go underneath the shirt cuff. I specifically bought it for that purpose. It's only 10 millimeters thick. And so you can see that beautiful 18-karat gold puppy there. No date on it, so I don't have to worry about setting this. The only time I'll have to set that watch, because it is so accurate, is at daylight savings time each year. When they make that 1 hour change in the fall and in the spring, I'm going to have to make that change on the watch. But other than that, I'll never have to reset this puppy because there's no date on it. So that's the reason why I bought that watch specifically. So we think things through, people. We think things through. And we do get a lot of good advice from you people to help us make the right decisions. And that's what this channel is about more than anything else, is making the right decisions so that you can have a comfortable, luxurious life. And that's the deal. Archie Luxury may be Archie Luxury. We're doing the real deal here. Great channel, looking for a spring drive, but design is a bit too conservative. Well, there you go. They got some pretty fancy ones coming out, though, and they got some more coming out. Good night, Craig. Sleep well. I wish the Snowflake was a little smaller and thinner. I agree with you about the thinner also. I probably wouldn't have sold it if it was thinner. I wouldn't have had to buy the dress watch. Craig, should I buy a car cash? Absolutely. Should always pay cash for your cars. You got to borrow money to buy a car. You probably can't afford it. You probably shouldn't buy it. That'd be my advice on that. All right, I am going to wear your watches in good health. Okay, we're going to wrap it up. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Remember, subscribe. Click on that little bell. And go to the video I did on Monday with Sarah. Go back in time and give her a little encouragement. Put a little comment in there. Give her a little encouragement to keep doing those shows. Thanks, everybody, again, for watching. We love you all, including the trolls, including Kitty. Hopefully Kitty will be back. Hopefully Kitty didn't really unsubscribe. Carry on, everybody.